Li Daokong was excited. So, the 10,000 life sword is so strong. This is definitely the strongest sword Dao mystical power, but I didn't study it thoroughly, he muttered to himself with an excited expression. Immediately, it was not only him. All the mighty figures in the immortal world were shocked by the power of the 10,000 life sword. In the endless sea, on an island, Huang Zuantian stood on the roof and looked at the sword shadows that filled the sky with excitement. He remembered that voice. This mystical power is definitely from a sage. Huang Zuantian was extremely excited. He had indeed chosen the right person. Fortunately, he had always recognized Han Zhu. Otherwise, if he betrayed him, the consequences would be unimaginable. The world fell silent in less than 10 breaths of time. The heavenly devils of the myriad worlds were all annihilated as countless sword shadows descended. Mountains transformed back into mountains, clouds transformed back into clouds, and all things transformed back into their original forms. The power of a sage was so powerful. Inside the 100-peak immortal river, Han Zhu slowly put down his right hand. Under normal circumstances, if his sage power was used in the area of the heavenly Tao, it would be rejected by the heavenly Tao. However, since the heavenly Tao was being threatened by the heavenly devils and its providence weakened, and he was trying to eliminate the heavenly devils who harmed the heavenly Tao, how could the heavenly Tao stop him? Clearing the heavenly devils with one move. Han Zhu was indifferent. After all, these were all small fries. The true enemy was still outside the 33rd heaven. Han Zhu looked down at the million disciples in the 100-peak immortal river. Every disciple had a fanatical expression. The heavenly devils of the myriad worlds have been eliminated. Is this what you wanted? Han Zhu asked. His words shocked the hidden sect disciples again. How long had it been? No one dared to answer his question. Everyone could tell that he was prepared to teach them a lesson. The calamities of the heavenly Tao will never be eliminated. Today, there are heavenly devils. In the future, we will definitely welcome an even stronger calamity. If you really want to protect the heavenly Tao, you should cultivate diligently. If the million disciples of my hidden sect are all zenith heaven, how can the heavenly Tao not be powerful? Han Zhu's words echoed in the ears of the million disciples, making them feel ashamed. Chu Shuren also felt ashamed. They felt that the heavenly Tao was about to die, but when they saw Han Zhu attack, they understood that this calamity was only child's play in the eyes of the strongest. Han Zhu said, "Disperse. Cultivate well. Don't have any distracting thoughts after entering the hidden sect. What nurtured you is not the heavenly Tao, but the hidden sect." Immediately after, he disappeared and returned to the Taoist temple. Sitting on the 36th grade reincarnation world destruction Black Lotus, Han Zhu opened his choices and chose the first option. Immediately come out of seclusion and kill the heavenly devils. The heavenly devils have yet to be completely cleaned up. You can't receive the reward. Han Zhu sighed. Indeed, he had to kill Dao Heavenly Devil first. He asked in his mind, if I go and reinforce Choshilai and focus on fighting with all my might, will I die? 10 billion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue. There is a 1% chance of death. Han Zhu showed a frown. I want to know what the 1% chance is. 10 billion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue. In the darkness, there is also the Dharma idol of the Tao Heavenly Devil. His strength is comparable to the main body. Han Zhu was enlightened. Not bad. Fortunately, he had the system. Otherwise, he might have really been plotted against by the Tao Heavenly Devil's Dharma idol. Han Zhu entered the simulation trial again. This time, he set up 5 Tao Heavenly Devils to fight him. Because he didn't know the Tao Heavenly Devil's exact mystical power and Dharma idol, he decided to set up 2 more Tao Heavenly Devils. If he could win, he wouldn't be afraid of the other Dharma idols. An hour later, Han Zhu opened his eyes and exhaled. Not bad. He could kill him. It was just that it took a while. Hanju continued the simulation trial. His 74 fiend celestial Dharma idols had their own abilities. If they cooperated well, it would be very effective. He now wanted to find a strategy to quickly kill the 5 Tao heavenly devils. Outside the 33rd heaven, the sages gathered in a hall. South Extreme Heavenly Venerate's expression was ugly as he said in a low voice, "You saw it, right? This kid is stronger than us, yet he refuses to make a move." Fuxician said, "He indeed has no reason to attack. He didn't rely on the providence of the heavenly Tao to attain the Tao. He even has very little heavenly Tao merit." Emperor Zhao's eyes flickered. He should have absorbed the negative karma in the 9 nether purgatory to attain the Tao. His sage power is extremely destructive and can directly destroy the heavenly devils. It's truly terrifying. Even if we don't abandon the heavenly Tao's providence, we might not be his match even if we join forces. Sect Master Tianju's expression was also ugly. They were about to beg for mercy, but now, there was another Hanju. In addition, Hanju's strength should prove that he's not the Dark Forbidden Lord. There's no need for him to hide and curse us, Emperor Shao added and looked at the other 3 sages. South Extreme Heavenly Venerate was furious, but he could not refute. It made sense. If they had Hanju's strength and disliked anyone, would they still need to hide and curse them? Previously, Sect Master Tianju had threatened to destroy the hidden sect. Hanju had a reason to attack them and was not afraid that he would lose his reputation. If Hanju wasn't the Dark Forbidden Lord, who was he? Emperor Shao said, "It's really strange that Li Muyi left at this time. The ones who attacked the Kiliakazan world were not the heavenly devils." Fuxician frowned. "You mean Li Muyi is acting?" "That's right. After this battle ends, we can't be considered heavenly Tao sages. It's very likely that Qiushilai and the Tao heavenly devil will both be injured. Once Li Muyi returns, who will dare to challenge him? So far, there's actually one person who has not been cursed by the Dark Forbidden Lord. That person is Li Muyi." Emperor Shao spoke very calmly, making it difficult to guess what he was thinking. South Extreme Heavenly Venerate and Sect Master Tianju were silent. It was indeed too coincidental. At this moment, a terrifying sound came from outside the hall. A hole was torn in the chaos, and a golden light sped out. It was Qiushilai. At this moment, Qiushilai was in an extremely sorry state. His golden Buddha body was covered in cracks as if it would shatter at any moment. "Fellow Taoists, save me!" Qiushilai shouted anxiously. Upon hearing this, the 4 heavenly Tao sages immediately moved over and blocked in front of him. The black hole was like a chasm. It was extremely huge. A pair of blood-red eyes appeared in it. They were larger than any sage palace in the 33rd heaven. "Tao Heavenly Devil." His chapter is update by NOVE, L, Bayan, Ko and what? You only have 4 helpers? A cold laugh filled with mockery sounded. Furious, the 4 sages took out their Dharma treasures. They were all heavenly Tao sages. They couldn't retreat like Hanju and could only fight. Once the Tao heavenly devil penetrated the 33rd heaven and the heavenly Tao was destroyed, they would also die. Qiushilai gritted his teeth and said, "There are even more heavenly devils inside. They far exceed the number of heavenly devils from before. Furthermore, their cultivation levels are even stronger." Terror flashed across his eyes. He tried his best to hide it. He couldn't be afraid. If he was afraid and gave up, the heavenly Tao would really die here. The South Extreme Heavenly Venerate, Sect Master Tianju, Fuxician, and Emperor Shao were extremely nervous. Qiushilai's miserable state gave them immense pressure. They attacked one after another. Boundless dermic powers transformed into 4 torrents that collided with the huge black hole in the distance, but they did not cause any damage. Find up Ted Uvels on MV Elban. Koem the Tao Heavenly Devil tore at the black hole and quickly widened it. His sinister and terrifying head stretched out with a greedy expression. His long tongue stretched out from his mouth and stirred the chaotic chi of the 33rd heaven. Sect Master Tianju slashed out with his sword. An extremely dazzling sword chi attacked and almost instantly collided with the Tao Heavenly Devil's head. The Tao Heavenly Devil suddenly took a deep breath and sucked the sword chi into his stomach. Immediately after, the Tao Heavenly Devil crawled out as if he had gone mad. A terrifying roar resounded in the 33rd heaven. All the living beings in the immortal world could vaguely hear it. Inside the Taoist temple, Hanju opened his eyes and looked up. He saw the Tao Heavenly Devil enter the 33rd heaven and fight with the sages. The sages weren't the Tao Heavenly Devil's match at all. They were completely suppressed. Endless heavenly devils surged out from the black hole behind the Tao Heavenly Devil. They were ferocious and terrifying. Again? Hanju raised his eyebrows but didn't attack immediately. It was a good opportunity to kill with a borrowed knife. The sages had always been plotting against him. He could use this opportunity to suppress them. However, he didn't want them to die. At the very least, he wanted them to be severely injured so that he could rest in peace for many years to come. Hanju continued the simulation trial and looked for a strategy. Every time he ended a trial, he would look up at the battle situation. Sages were sages, after all. Even if they couldn't win, they wouldn't die so easily. Furthermore, in the area of the Heavenly Tao, even if their bodies were destroyed, the Heavenly Tao would revive them. It repeated the cycle. Half a year passed. Hanju ended the simulation trial again. The time needed to kill the 5 Tao Heavenly Devils decreased to 5 minutes. This was already the limit. He looked up again and discovered that Empress Huda had actually gone to help. If it was any other sage, Hanju could leave them in the lurch. However, Empress Huda was on good terms with him, and reincarnation needed her. Hanju couldn't let her die. Hanju stood up and stretched. I'll hide and ambush them later. Hanju thought silently. In the simulation trial, the opponent's setup would directly attack the challenger. He had no chance to ambush them. In reality, if the sneak attack succeeded, the time it took to kill the Tao Heavenly Devil might be even shorter. After stretching, Hanju jumped out of the Tao field nervously and came to the 33rd heaven. He turned invisible and hid in the darkness. The Tao Heavenly Devil was surrounded by the sages, and countless heavenly devils floated outside the battle area. These heavenly devils couldn't touch the sages at all. Even if they were destroyed, they would still advance one after another. The battlefield covered a radius of billions of kilometers. The heavenly devils were everywhere. Hanju still had to find the direction. He quietly circled behind the Tao Heavenly Devil. The heavenly devils could be revived. Hanju had to use the Void Fiend Celestial and the Devour Fiend Celestial's power to eliminate them. The Void Fiend Celestial turned the heavenly devils into nothingness and the Devour Fiend Celestial devoured them directly. Both could directly eliminate the heavenly devils. The Tao Heavenly Devil was stronger than ordinary heavenly devils. Even if Hanju combined these two powers, he couldn't insta-kill him. However, as long as he could suppress him, he could exhaust the Tao Heavenly Devil to death. The South Extreme Heavenly Venerate was killed by Tao Heavenly Devil again. His sage soul quickly escaped. A pillar of light descended from the sky and shone on his sage soul. Immediately after, it reformed his body. The other sages continued to fight. Even Choshilai was fighting. Empress Huta was located behind the sages, waving her long staff. 7 colored lights scattered down and guided the providence of the heavenly Tao into the sages. This was support? Hanju cursed silently when he saw this scene. Then, he transformed into a heavenly devil and quietly approached the Tao Heavenly Devil. He used the power of the hidden fiend celestial as if he was a true heavenly devil. The other heavenly devils couldn't sense at all. No! We can't block it! Emperor Shao sent a voice transmission. The sages had established a sage sense voice transmission that allowed them to communicate easily without opening their mouths. Sect Master Tianju gritted his teeth and sent a voice transmission, "We have to. We have no way to retreat. We have no choice." Choshilai's eyes were also extremely determined. At this moment, he had already forgotten his fear. He would still die even if he left the heavenly Tao. They could only fight. Empress Huta looked at Tao Heavenly Devil's terrifying and mighty body with fear. The terror of the Tao Heavenly Devil was something that could be sensed with the naked eye. In the 33rd heaven, his height was immeasurable, as if all living beings were extremely tiny in front of him. The sages tried their best to fight, but their hearts were filled with despair. Their only hope now was Ancestor Shitian. They hoped that Ancestor Shitian would return in time. However, every time Ancestor Shitian went out to discuss the Tao, it would take at least 1,000,000 years for him to return. How many years had it been since he left? They could only hope that Ancestor Shitian could sense the Heavenly Tao's danger. Are you afraid? Is this the power of the Heavenly Tao sages? Among the grudges I absorbed, many ghosts are filled with reverence for sages. If they knew that sages were so humble, what would they think? The Tao Heavenly Devil laughed wildly, his tone filled with killing intent. The sages fought in silence. At this moment, the Tao Heavenly Devil suddenly sensed something and turned around. Hanju was already 10,000 kilometers away from him. 10,000 kilometers was extremely far for mortals, but to them, it was already an extremely dangerous distance. The moment the Tao Heavenly Devil turned his head, Hanju suddenly revealed his true form. His supreme treasures were activated and emitted a dazzling divine light. Two fiend celestial Dharma idols suddenly emerged from Hanju's body and pounced on the Tao Heavenly Devil. Void Fiend Celestial. Devour Fiend Celestial. They were black shadows. The Void Fiend Celestial wrapped around the Tao Heavenly Devil as quickly as possible. The Devour Fiend Celestial pounced on the Tao Heavenly Devil and bit off its huge head. Hanju shook his arms, and the remaining 72 Fiend Celestial Dharma idols erupted at the same time. In an instant, the void was occupied by the 72 majestic and terrifying figures. The 72 Fiend Celestial Dharma idols surrounded the Tao Heavenly Devil and attacked. The heavenly constellation Fiend Celestial punched out angrily. The wind from his fist swept through the 10,000,000 heavenly devils and pierced through their abdomens. Shadow Flood Fiend Celestial transformed into countless Fiend Celestial shadows that attacked the heavenly devils in all directions. The Extreme Ice Fiend Celestial struck out with his palm, causing the power of Extreme Ice to freeze the chaotic space. Even the Sage Tao field was frozen. The Chi Fiend Celestial dispersed the chaotic Chi, leaving only the Tao Heavenly Devil and the Fiend Celestial Dharma Idol in the Fiend Celestial battlefield. The other Dharma idols used their great Tao to destroy the Tao Heavenly Devil. The Tao Heavenly Devil was suppressed until he couldn't fight back. The South Extreme Heavenly Venerate, Sect Master Tianju, Emperor Shao, Chou Shilai, and Empress Huta were all dumbfounded and speechless. Chou Shilai trembled in disbelief. He couldn't accept what was happening. He knew that Hanju was very strong, but he didn't expect him to be so strong. The lawless Tao Heavenly Devil was directly pressed down by him and couldn't move. He endured Hanju's torture. Impossible! Didn't he just attain the Tao? Why was he so strong? Being suppressed by the great Tao power of the 74 Fiend Celestial Dharma idols, the Tao Heavenly Devil couldn't withstand it at all. The Tao Heavenly Devil's body was torn apart and quickly recovered. This cycle repeated again and again. During this process, his aura quickly weakened. The Tao Heavenly Devil would die as long as Hanju suppressed him like this. Even though he knew this, Hanju didn't dare to let his guard down. The 33rd heaven was frozen. There was dark blue ice as far as the eye could see. Countless heavenly devils were struggling to break out of the ice. But other than the Tao Heavenly Devil, how could the other heavenly devils resist Hanju's great dharmic powers? Hanju slowly rose to the sky above all the Fiend Celestial Dharma idols. Looking down at the battle, His sage sense swept in all directions to guard against the two Dharma idols of the Tao Heavenly Devil. All sorts of great Tao power landed on the Tao Heavenly Devil's broken body. All sorts of strange lights shone. They were refracted by the extreme ice of the 33rd heaven. The entire 33rd heaven fell into a strange and mysterious dream. The sages did not let down their guard. They waited solemnly and stared at the Tao Heavenly Devil, afraid that he would suddenly erupt. The Tao Heavenly Devil's self-healing ability far exceeded that of the other heavenly devils. He constantly recovered his body, and the devouring speed of the Fiend Celestial was inferior to his recovery speed. About 20 breaths of time passed. Read latest OVLS at NVEL by Calm. The situation suddenly changed. Hanju felt two extremely strong killing intents coming from both sides. He immediately moved and dodged easily. Turning around, he saw two Tao Heavenly Devils colliding. They looked no different from the Tao Heavenly Devil himself. The sages widened their eyes. There was more than one Tao Heavenly Devil? Chao Shilai was even more stunned. He had never seen the Tao Heavenly Devil's two Dharma idols before. If both Dharma idols appeared at the same time, Chao Shilai didn't dare to think further. He only felt his blood run cold and his heart fill with fear. The 74 Fiend Celestial Dharma idols continued to destroy the Tao Heavenly Devil. Hanju turned around and prepared to deal with the two Dharma idols. The Grand Unity aspect was only one of his methods. He didn't completely rely on it. Hanju raised his right hand, and the Primordial Judgment Sword appeared in his palm. With a shake of his right hand, the sword blade shook out an afterimage. Countless sword shadows shot out like a huge silver-white lotus blooming, dazzling and magnificent. Mystical power, unparalleled sword chi. A Tao Heavenly Devil Dharma idol suddenly stepped forward and opened its bloody mouth. It spat out a terrifying aura of resentment. It was scarlet and terrifying. It was like a huge river that connected the heavens and the earth. Boom! The sword chi collided with the river of resentment, emitting a domineering wind that shook the endless ice. Hanju raised his eyebrows. This fellow was something. This resentment aura was extremely corrosive. It could even melt his sword chi. Hanju took out the 36th grade Reincarnation World Destruction Black Lotus and attacked the Tao Heavenly Devil Dharma idol. The rolling grudge spat out by the Tao Heavenly Devil was directly absorbed by the 36th grade Reincarnation World Destruction Black Lotus. The 36th grade Reincarnation World Destruction Black Lotus quickly approached the Tao Heavenly Devil with the vast grudge. The other Tao Heavenly Devil Dharma idol suddenly disappeared, reappearing behind Hanju. In an instant, Hanju felt the surrounding space freeze. A powerful pressure surged from all directions. Hanju immediately used the Great Traversal Divine Shadow. He split into 9 Divine Shadows and attacked the second Tao Heavenly Devil Dharma idol. The second Tao Heavenly Devil's eyes widened. The chaotic space fluctuated visibly, and the speed of the 9 Great Traversal Divine Shadows slowed down. One can use resentment and the other can freeze space. Their abilities are different from the main body. Hanju thought silently. He didn't panic. The aura of the Tao Heavenly Devil's main body became weaker and weaker. It couldn't withstand the Grand Unity aspect anymore. When he died, the two Dharma idols would naturally be nothing to fear. At this moment, the sages attacked one after another, restraining the second Tao Heavenly Devil Dharma idol. They could tell that Hanju's 36th grade Reincarnation World Destruction Black Lotus suppressed the first Tao Heavenly Devil Dharma idol, so they restricted the second. Hanju immediately controlled the 36th grade Reincarnation World Destruction Black Lotus to suppress the first Tao Heavenly Devil Dharma idol. No matter what mystical power the first Tao Heavenly Devil Dharma idol used, it was all absorbed by the 36th grade Reincarnation World Destruction Black Lotus. Boom! The Tao Heavenly Devil's main body was completely shattered, but in the next second, his legs recovered. But his legs were no longer enough to support him. Who are you? The Tao Heavenly Devil's venomous voice sounded. Hanju didn't answer. Suddenly, The strange deity flew out from the 36th grade reincarnation world destruction Black Lotus. The sages couldn't see it, but the Tao Heavenly Devil could. No! The Tao Heavenly Devil shouted in horror as the strange deity rushed over. Hanju accurately controlled the fiend celestial Dharma idol and didn't hurt it. The Tao Heavenly Devil's legs were devoured again and turned into dust. He suddenly condensed into a black ball of light and tried to escape. However, the nightmare fiend celestial reached out and grabbed the black ball of light that the Tao Heavenly Devil had transformed into. The strange deity flew over and devoured the black ball of light. The other two Tao Heavenly Devil Dharma idols roared and turned into dust. The Heavenly Devils frozen in the endless ice also turned into dust. The 33rd heaven fell silent. Hanju didn't relax. Instead, he quickly moved around the 33rd heaven and kept using the simulation trial to detect the surrounding enemies. The sages were stunned. They looked at him nervously, not understanding what he was doing. Could it be that the Tao Heavenly Devil was still alive? You have killed all the Heavenly Devils and obtained a great Tao fragment, a supreme treasure, and a chance to activate a new function of the system. Congratulations on obtaining a Freedom Supreme Treasure, Heavenly Devil Heart Protecting Jade. Heavenly Devil Heart Protecting Jade, Freedom Supreme Treasure. Its defense is extremely strong. It can summon the Heavenly Devil to protect itself and defend against a blow from a Freedom Sage. Congratulations on activating a new function of the system Primordial Heavenly Prison. Primordial Heavenly Prison, it can only be located in the Tao field. If any existence is imprisoned, depending on their cultivation, the imprisoned time will be different until they become a Tao field slave. Their life and death will be controlled by the Lord of the Tao field. The Primordial Heavenly Prison can only imprison one living being at the same time. Hanju didn't pay attention to the lines of words in front of him. He moved repeatedly and jumped through the 33rd heaven. After confirming that there were no powerful enemies, he heaved a sigh of relief. He left after saying, "The Heavenly Devil calamity has been resolved. Fellow Taoists, don't worry." Hanju took away the strange deity and jumped back into the Tao field. Hanju was still very nervous even after returning to the Taoist temple. It was finally resolved. How thrilling! It had to be said that the other sages had also contributed greatly to this battle. Hanju's impression of them improved, but only slightly. He didn't let down his guard. At this moment, a loud voice resounded through the myriad worlds. The Heavenly Devil calamity has been eliminated. Fortunately, the sect master of the hidden sect took action. I, Choshilai, will use the name of the sect master of the Tao sect and the Heavenly Tao to confer the immeasurable merit divine might Heavenly Sage title to the hidden sect's sect master. I hope that all living beings will remember his meritorious deed. From now on, the Tao sect and the hidden sect will be on good terms. All past grudges will disappear like smoke. Hanju was stunned. This guy. It was unexpected, but on second thought, it made sense. The sages would definitely not dare to find trouble with Hanju anymore. It was better to appease him and resolve the grudge now. It was a favor and could end their bad karma. Such an action was expected of a sage. The Heavenly Devil Heart Protecting Jade was a Freedom Supreme Treasure that was even stronger than a Heavenly Tao treasure. He took it out and started to make it recognize him as its owner. Then, he checked the new function of the system. Primordial Heavenly Prison. This was interesting. He could make powerful enemies submit and become his slave. Hanju had a bold thought. Could he trick a mighty figure in and pretend to discuss the Tao, stall for time, and subtly subdue the other party? On second thought, it should not. After all, the system would change its will. How could it not notice this process? Please choose the location of the Primordial Heavenly Prison. The virtual map of the Tao field appeared in front of him. Behind it was the landscape of the entire 100-peak Immortal River. The two maps overlapped. Hanju chose his Taoist temple. This was the safest way. He would watch over it personally. primordial heavenly prison arranged successfully. Hanju looked around and didn't feel anything different. He had to capture a living being to try. Who should he capture? Hanju first thought of the 3 pure sacred ancestor. This fellow couldn't be killed in the heavenly Tao. He was the best test subject. Limoyi didn't seem to be in the heavenly Tao's territory. Perfect. Boom! The 100-peak immortal river suddenly shook violently. A dazzling pillar of light descended from the sky, piercing through the Tao field and landing on Hanju. Heavenly Tao merit. The Tao field wouldn't reject such a force that was not an attack. Hanju put away all the heavenly Tao merit and didn't absorb it directly. He didn't need heavenly Tao merit, but it could exist in a corner of the primordial world. Wait, I can use it to infiltrate the immortal world. Hanju's eyes lit up as he suddenly thought of a bold idea. He had to make the heavenly devil heart protecting jade recognize him as its owner first. In the south of the immortal world, in a continuous mountain, there was a Taoist temple halfway up the mountain. A huge cauldron in front of the door had smoke curling up. Hanju suddenly appeared, his body wrapped in 7-colored light. This was the heavenly Tao merit. With the heavenly Tao merit, Hanju would not be expelled by the heavenly Tao. He looked at the Taoist temple and put the 3 pure sacred ancestor into his sleeve. With a shake of his body, he returned to the 100-peak immortal river. Inside the Taoist temple, Hanju released the 3 pure sacred ancestor. Without waiting for him to react, his right hand quickly waved his dermic powers to suppress the 3 pure sacred ancestors' Tao fruit and seal his dermic powers. The 3 pure sacred ancestor couldn't move. His eyes widened. What's happening? The 3 pure sacred ancestor was shocked as unprecedented fear surged in his heart. This was the first time he had encountered such a situation. Even sages couldn't enter the immortal world to capture him. The other party could only be stronger than a heavenly Tao sage. He had heard Li Mui say that there were indeed people stronger than the heavenly Tao sages. Hanju silently activated the primordial heavenly prison. Beginning imprisonment. The 3 pure sacred ancestors stared at him. Hanju smiled calmly and said, "You'll be a guest for a period of time and discuss the Tao with me." The 3 pure sacred ancestor couldn't speak, so he could only use his divine sense to ask who the other party was. "You've been here before, but you were defeated. 100-peak immortal river. Are you the hidden sex master?" Why are you imprisoning me?" "You will understand in the future." The 3 pure sacred ancestor fell silent. Unable to break free, he did not want to talk anymore. He could only wait quietly for Li Mui to save him. However, his heart sank when he thought of how Li Mui had recently left the heavenly Tao. It was said to be a discussion of the Tao, but in the end, there was still no discussion. The Taoist temple fell into silence. To prevent any accidents, Hanju let Zhangju in to look at the 3 pure sacred ancestor while he cultivated in peace. The 3 pure sacred ancestor was dumbfounded when he saw Zhangju. "Li Mui! Impossible!" This time, his mind was in chaos. Did Li Mui order Hanju to capture him? Visit NOV CM for the L-test updates. He hurriedly used his divine sense to ask Zhangju, but he did not answer at all. He was expressionless as if he had no emotions. The 3 pure sacred ancestors' heart sank and his faith shattered. He thought that the master he had always protected had betrayed him. The 3 pure sacred ancestor fell into unprecedented confusion. Hanju ignored him and focused on cultivating. He had benefited greatly from the battle with the Tao Heavenly Devil. Unlike the simulation trial, the excitement brought by true battle couldn't be simulated. In the simulation trial, Hanju knew that he wouldn't die, so he was fearless in battle. His mental state was definitely different from real battles. The Taoist temple fell into silence, but the 100-peak immortal river was very lively. Not only the 100-peak immortal river but also the myriad worlds in the universe. They were all lively and noisy. The name of the immeasurable merit divine might heavenly sage resounded throughout the myriad worlds. This heavenly devil calamity affected the myriad worlds in the universe. The calamity was unprecedentedly serious. The sect master of the hidden sect did not save a world this time, but the entire heavenly Tao. The merit was far greater than the merit of creating races and preaching in the past. It was the truth. The merit Hanju absorbed was extremely huge. It was as dazzling as a bright sun in the primordial world. Year after year passed. More and more living beings appeared around the 100-peak immortal river. They were all here to seek the Tao. Even if the 100-peak immortal river ignored them, many persistent people insisted on staying. In the entire immortal world, statues of the immeasurable merit divine might heavenly sage were erected everywhere. However, they didn't know Hanju's appearance, so there were all kinds of statues. The hidden sect hid from the world and Li Daokong did not return, so the million disciples quickly fell into their previous cultivation state. However, every time they heard the living beings outside the Tao field praise the immeasurable merit divine might heavenly sage, they were very excited and felt proud. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, 800 years passed. Primordial heavenly prison has successfully enslaved the target. The 3 pure sacred ancestor has a favorable impression of you. Current favorability, max. Just as this notification appeared, Hanju suddenly sensed something. He established a connection with the 3 pure sacred ancestor. This connection was very similar to the 6 paths insignia. If he wanted the 3 pure sacred ancestor to die, he would definitely die. This feeling was extremely strange, but it was indeed true. Hanju was pleasantly surprised. The primordial heavenly prison was indeed a little powerful. Come to think of it, with the existence of max favorability, 6 stars weren't the highest? Not bad. Hanju felt that he had to re-evaluate his favorability. He opened his eyes to look at the 3 pure sacred ancestor. The other party was still meditating. Hanju asked, 3 pure sacred ancestor? The other party opened his eyes and bowed respectfully. Greetings, Tao Lord. Hanju sized him up and said, kneel. The 3 pure sacred ancestor immediately knelt down. Roll. The 3 pure sacred ancestor immediately rolled around. Slap yourself in the face. This time, Hanju completely believed it. After all, the 3 pure sacred ancestor didn't know the primordial heavenly prison's function. Even if he pretended, he didn't have to work so hard. Hanju immediately helped him up. 3 pure, I'm just testing you. Sorry. I needed you too much. You're the number 1 in the immortal world. My hidden sect needs an expert like you. He began to praise the 3 pure sacred ancestor, who was very touched. After some communication, Hanju discovered that the 3 pure sacred ancestor didn't completely lose his intelligence. He only subtly trusted Hanju completely. He still had his own thoughts. Hanju decided to let the 3 pure sacred ancestor out. He might even be a spy beside Li Mui. That day, he had moved the 3 pure sacred ancestor out. Other than Zhongju, no one knew about this. As for Li Mui, he was probably still in the Kiliakosm world. Otherwise, he would have long come to visit. This function doesn't seem to have a price. I can spend time enslaving the entire immortal world. However, he spent 800 years just on the 3 pure sacred ancestor. How many cultivators were there in the immortal world? Moreover, even if he enslaved the entire immortal world, how beneficial was it to Hanju? At this moment, the entire immortal world would definitely lose if they attacked him. Why waste time and delay his cultivation? With the 3 pure sacred ancestor beside him, Hanju couldn't cultivate in peace. After thinking, he stood up. That's all. I should use the primordial heavenly prison less. The more I use it, the easier it will be to expose myself. I have to use it when it's most needed. Hanju thought silently. The system also had its limits. It wouldn't be good if he encountered a powerful existence that far exceeded the system and the other party saw through it at a glance. After stretching, Hanju walked out of the Taoist temple and summoned all the disciples to prepare for the lecture. After the heavenly devil calamity ended, this was Hanju's first time preaching. The disciples were all very excited. They often heard the living beings near the 100-peak immortal river praising Hanju, causing them to want to see him again. However, over the years, even the personal disciples and guardians couldn't see him. It was still the same place as before. Hanju sat on the mountain peak and waited for a while before starting the lecture. The disciples quickly entered a meditative state and began to comprehend the Tao. After preaching for 100 years, the cycle of spring and autumn had changed. The world had changed again. After the lecture, Hanju came to the Fusang tree. He asked the Fusang tree to open the spatial vortex that led to the Kiliocosm world for him to probe with his sage sense. The Kiliocosm world wasn't attacked by heavenly devils. Instead, it was ravaged by the inauspicious evil. Because he had fused with the strange deity, Hanju could see the inauspicious evil. The entire Kiliocosm world was filled with inauspicious evil. There were countless of them, like the scene of the heavenly devils in the past. However, all living beings couldn't see the inauspicious evil and died for no reason, causing their fear and despair to far exceed the living beings of the previous immortal world. Limuyi fought a mysterious existence above the Kiliocosm world. Dark Sage King. This Dark Sage King wasn't inferior to the Tao Heavenly Devil. However, he wasn't much stronger. Hanju had no intention of supporting Limuyi and let them fight. Then, he began to observe the world the 1,000 disciples were in. It was considered peaceful. There were no heavenly devils or inauspicious evil. It formed a world of its own and developed steadily. Some immortal emperors were lost. This was normal. How could there be no danger? Hanju watched for a while before turning around and preparing to leave. At this moment, the black-held chicken suddenly flew over. It chuckled. "Master, I haven't looked for you for a long time. Can you?" The black-held chicken immediately became excited. The man and chicken returned to the Taoist temple. The black-held chicken wanted Hanju to teach it the sword Tao mystical power. Hanju didn't reject it and was even a little glad. Hanju was the closest to the black-held chicken compared to his son, Tao companions, and disciples. The black-held chicken had always accompanied him. Although it had a sharp tongue, it could always help the new disciples blend in. It could quickly reduce the estrangement and unfamiliarity between the disciples. However, although the black-held chicken usually cultivated, it did not have a strong thought of becoming stronger. Hanju taught his strongest sword Tao mystical power to the black-held chicken. 10,000 life sword. Great Tao mystical power. 5 years later, the black-held chicken left the Taoist temple with a conflicted expression. When it passed Zhangju, it chuckled. "Old fellow, I'm about to rise. Do you have time to practice alone?" Zhangju ignored him. Bored, the black-held chicken looked at the crimson fox not far away. It smiled and said, "Little fox, do you dare to spar with me?" The crimson fox said angrily, "How can a chicken defeat a fox?" The black-held chicken almost died of anger. "Come," the crimson fox said, "you want to disturb Master's cultivation?" The black-held chicken could only leave indignantly. Inside the Taoist temple, Hanju sighed. This stinky chicken's comprehension was not good. Should he let it re-roll its life? He stopped thinking and opened the emails. Your good friend Cho Shilai has comprehended the heavenly Tao. His sage heart has been repaired. Your good friend Han Ming was attacked by a deity realm existence. His body was destroyed and only a remnant soul was left. Your son Han Tuo has awakened his innate mystical power. His cultivation has increased greatly. Your good friend Shi Dudao was attacked by your good friend Li Dao Kong, X7. Your good friend Emperor Shao was cursed by a mysterious curse. Your good friend Empress Hutu established the reincarnation heaven and earth. Her cultivation has increased greatly. Red. Your good friend Huang Zuntian has received guidance from a sage. His providence has increased greatly. Li Daokong was still fighting Shidu Dao. As expected of him, Hanju could sense that Li Daokong was growing rapidly and was not severely injured. As for the other emails, Hanju didn't care. In short, peace returned to the immortal world. Chou Shilai wants to visit you in your dreams. Do you accept? A notification appeared in front of him. This time, Chou Shilai's attitude changed and he didn't dare to spam anymore. Hanju thought for a moment and accepted the dream. It had already happened several times. There was no need to deduce first. Even if the Heavenly Tao wanted to target him, it was impossible. Hanju had the Heavenly Tao merit. The Heavenly Tao power couldn't harm him. This was why so many experts pursued merit and preached the Tao to the heavens. In the dream, seeing Chou Shilai, he was no longer as tall as Hanju. Chou Shilai smiled and said, "Immeasurable merit, divine might, heavenly sage. Are you satisfied with this name?" Hanju said, "It's alright." What's the matter? This fellow's attitude had changed too quickly. Wasn't he very arrogant in the past? Now, only one, the South Extreme Heavenly Venerate, Sect Master Tianju, Fuxishan, Emperor Shao, and you are left. Sage Jinan and Sage Fated Secrets have already gone mad and are suppressed in their respective Tao fields. The matter of the heavenly devils has made us wary. We are prepared to build the chaotic city and guard the chaotic domain of the 33rd heaven. This is a great merit. We will send our disciples to join. What about you? Chou Shilai asked with a smile. Hanju asked, "Must I make arrangements?" Chou Shilai hurriedly waved his hand. "Of course not. You're our savior. If you're unwilling, that's fine. However, this is a great merit given by the Heavenly Tao. Although the heavenly devils are eliminated, there might be greater calamities in the future. Now, the inauspicious evil of the Dark Forbidden Zone is a potential calamity. You can rest assured. We sages have already communicated. We won't scheme against you in the future. If you want, we can even acknowledge you as the great sage of the Heavenly Tao, such as the past Li Mui."